some more breaking updates that are just coming in. Sidhu's plea for delay for surrender. That's information coming in today. Navjot Singh Sidhu was expected to surrender. Yesterday, he had also tweeted indicating that he will surrender, but he is approaching the Supreme Court and trying to delay his surrender. Remember, yesterday the Supreme Court had sentenced him to 1 year rigorous imprisonment in the 1988 road rage incident. Previously, he had been let off easily with 1,000 rupees fine, after which a fresh plea had been filed. Yesterday, the Supreme Court had said that by letting Sidhu off freely, it would be an insult to the victims, after which he was sentenced to 1 year rigorous imprisonment. Now, there is a plea to delay his surrender. Legal editor Harish Nair on the phone line with us. Harish, yesterday the Supreme Court had made some scathing criticism. It had also said that by letting Sidhu off easily, it would be an insult to the victim. But now we have complete mockery of justice yet again. Navjot Singh Sidhu hinting at the possibility of delaying his surrender.
Yes, yesterday Sidhu had even tweeted that he will bow to the majesty of law, but today his lawyer appeared before the Supreme Court, the same bench, and pleaded for 3 more weeks to surrender on medical grounds. But Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul reminded Abhishek Manu Singhvi that the bench which passed the order was a special bench, and only the Chief Justice can constitute a special bench. Once a special bench is constituted, you can file an application, then we will see. For that, then after that, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul directed Abhishek Manu Singhvi to appear before Chief Justice bench. But what happened is that Abhishek Manu Singhvi had appeared through video conferencing link. He kept on waving, but the Chief Justice bench refused to entertain him, which means that there is no order as of now on Navjot Sidhu's petition seeking further time to surrender, which means that he will have to surrender today.
Okay, all right. In fact, we had also spoken to the family members of the victims. Let's listen into what their reaction was.
नाम सिंह जी आपके क्या लगते थे?
मेरे फादर इन लॉ।
जो कल माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फैसला सुनाया नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू के खिलाफ 34 साल बाद आया, उसे आप किस तरह से देख रहे हैं?
बाबा जी ने कृपा की और क्या।
बाबा जी ने कृपा की, लेकिन आज नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू के वकीलों की तरफ से फिर से कुछ हफ्तों का समय मांगा जा रहा है कि कुछ हफ्ते का समय दिया जाए, उसे आप किस तरह से देते हैं?
वो हमारा काम नहीं है, वो कोर्ट का काम है। लेट देम डिसाइड। थैंक यू।
So, Harish, there's no relief for Navjot Singh Sidhu. The Supreme Court has refused to hear his plea.
Yes, that's exactly the news point in this, because Sidhu has been trying to get more time in at least 3 weeks more time to surrender, and he has cited medical grounds, health grounds. But after the Sanjay Kishan Kaul bench asked him to appear before the Chief Justice and make a request to constitute a special bench so that such an application can be filed. But Abhishek Manu Singhvi, despite his attempt, could not make a mentioning before the Chief Justice. And as I said, he had appeared through video conferencing link and was seen repeatedly waving at the court master. But his mentioning request was not admitted. He was not allowed to mention, which means that his plea stands without any order. There is no relief for Sidhu as of now, because he could not mention the matter before the Chief Justice. So the request by Sidhu to give more time for him to surrender stands as it is, without any order from the Supreme Court.
Okay, all right. So the political action shifts at Navjot Singh Sidhu's residence. In fact, we've been reporting from the spot since morning as well. Gurpreet has been live from the spot. Gurpreet, it seemed like Sidhu could get away or delay law catching up, really. And he tried going to the Supreme Court as well, but the Supreme Court dismissed it, which means any moment now he would have to surrender.
Well, yes, of course. Since morning, we have been reporting in front of Navjot Singh Sidhu's residence. We have seen a lot of Congress Neta. They have already come to show solidarity with Navjot Singh Sidhu, and all the leaders, they are sitting inside. They are waiting for the final result or outcome of this application, which has been moved before the Supreme Court. As you have already told that is no relief to Navjot Singh Sidhu. So anytime the action will start from here, Navjot Singh Sidhu will definitely go to the local Patiala court and he will definitely surrender before the court. That is the procedure he has to follow as per the Supreme Court verdict. So let's see that how and when he is coming out. What we have learned from the local administration also, all the arrangements have been made. The security arrangement has been already been made. At the same time, Navjot Singh Sidhu's lawyers are being consulted by Navjot Singh Sidhu as well as their family members to understand how they are going to surrender after when they are not able to get any relief from the Supreme Court. So as of now, all the netas which are expelled from the Congress party, they are siding Navjot Singh Sidhu. But the more shocking, and it's a huge embarrassment for Navjot Singh Sidhu, no the mainstream political neta from Congress, they have come to show the solidarity, and netas which have already come and sitting inside, they are waiting for the final outcome of this petition which has been moved before the Supreme Court. And once they will be able to convey through their lawyers, after that there will be the decision which will be taken by Navjot Singh Sidhu and other netas, and as per the Supreme Court order, he has to surrender today. And since morning, so many turns and twists in this case, and we have seen since morning. First, Navjot Singh Sidhu was saying, his sources close to Navjot Singh Sidhu, they are saying he will surrender at about 10 a.m. Before the Patiala court, but that didn't happen. And we have seen the legal expert, they had just joined Navjot Singh Sidhu, and they are trying to find out the legal recourse so that they will be able to get some relief.
It seems like Navjot Singh Sidhu is trying every trick in the book. Nilashish is also with us. Nilashish, in fact, the plea in the Supreme Court itself was a joke on the judiciary, because just 2 days ago, Navjot Singh Sidhu was part of a protest where he was riding an elephant. But the petition that was filed with the Supreme Court sought some more time to surrender on health grounds.
Well, absolutely. On this aspect, it's very important to note what the Supreme Court yesterday itself said in its judgment when it sentenced Sidhu to 1 year rigorous imprisonment. It was said that any sort of sympathy shown for an inadequate sentence in itself takes away from the public confidence in the efficacy of the law. So now when Navjot Sidhu approaches the Supreme Court and says on medical grounds he seeks to in fact delay his surrender, he says he'll surrender but he needs to settle up his medical issues, that in a way takes away from the spirit of the judgment itself. Let's not forget the manner in which the Supreme Court yesterday allowed the review petition and said that insufficient sentence or sympathy shown will of course take away from the public's confidence in the efficacy of the law. And that in itself is again on show here when Navjot Singh Sidhu is trying to delay his surrender on the basis of medical grounds. Of course, it is his right to approach the court with every possibility and every chance that he has. However, the CJI has clearly not entertained any sort of mentioning, as Harish was also saying, from Abhishek Manu Singhvi to file this application. So of course, at the end of the day, the point remains, the bottom line is that as far as the court is concerned, there is no stoppage or there is no obstacle as far as Sidhu's surrendering is concerned. So it is the path has been paved for Sidhu to surrender, and that is something that he must do now.
Right.
Unless during the
all right. We have RP Singh of the BJP also with us. Mr. Singh, how do you look at this development? The Supreme Court has, of course, dismissed the petition that had been filed by Navjot Singh Sidhu. But in the petition, Sidhu saying that he needs to delay the surrender on health grounds. This petition came in just 2 days after he was seen riding an elephant as part of a protest.
Well, one thing is very clear, that Sidhu is trying to delay the process. He's finding out his legal routes by delaying the process, but he can't. And you're rightly saying that he can be seen riding elephant on some protest in Amritsar. But whereas now he's talking about that there is some health ground. So even courts can see through all this, and a court has rightly said that mighty someone be. The
should be seen delivering the message of justice.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We have Niharika Ahluwalia, the victim's lawyer, on the line with us. Taking a look at Navjot Singh Sidhu, of course, we also had a petition that had been filed, Niharika, first up saying that, I'm a cricketer turned politician, so VIP card that had been used by Navjot Singh Sidhu. Now we have on health grounds seeking some exemption, but of course the Supreme Court refusing to entertain it.
Yes. So, see, honestly speaking, there was no formal application made by him. Dr. Singhvi appeared on behalf of Mr. Sidhu and made a very vague oral mentioning that, we wish to seek few more weeks. They didn't specify how much time they need for surrendering. They just said they want few more weeks to surrender on some medical grounds. There was no medical certificate or anything produced before the court. This was objected to by us on behalf of the victim's family, where we said that there is no ground made out by him as to on what ground does he want to seek this extension, and he has been holding protests and rallies as of day before yesterday. So today, all of a sudden, when after 34 years a judgment has been passed, he must immediately surrender and he must comply with the law and the procedure now. So this was objected to by us, and the Honorable Supreme Court has asked him. They did not entertain his oral plea, and they said that if at all you wish, you move an application. Of course, he has all the rights to move whatever he wants to, and we will be taking all our steps that are available to the victims and all legal remedies available to all of us.
Okay, all right. Ms. Niharika, thank you for joining us. Sidhu running out of options. So now time is ticking for Navjot Singh Sidhu. Any moment now, he will have to surrender. Remember, he tried every trick in the book, every legal recourse available to him. We accessed the petition where he had said that he is a cricketer turned politician, which is why there should be exemptions for him. That was rejected, after which he sought some more time to surrender on health grounds as well, but that also being rejected. So, Nilashish, Sidhu really running out of options now, and it's time for him to surrender any moment now. That's expected.
Absolutely, as Ms. Niharika also said, as the advocate said, of course he has every right to use all legal remedies, all recourses, but they seem to be falling flat because, again, this application of health grounds to delay the surrender, that in itself was not a formal application. It was a vague mentioning, not really stating any grounds, not really putting out any documents. So the court, of course, looks at documents, looks at what exactly the grounds are for any relief that is sought. None of that which was actually made out in the Supreme Court right now. The CJI's bench also did not entertain any sort of mentioning. So, of course, as far as Navjot Singh Sidhu is concerned, it is very apparent, very clear from the court that he will have to surrender. As of now, there is absolutely no bar, there is no obstacle from the court or anything that is pending before the court either. That's a very important aspect, because otherwise on occasions we have seen that a politician or someone who has been convicted can say that there is a matter that is pending before the court, and due to this pendency they can seek more time. There is nothing as of now that is pending, which is very, very significant and goes against Navjot Singh Sidhu's attempts to not surrender. So definitely as of now it seems apparent and very realistic that he will be surrendering, and he will need to surrender as per the law in the coming few hours.
Gurpreet, before the surrender plea was also dismissed by the Supreme Court, we also saw perhaps a show of unity that Sidhu was trying to put up. Several Congress leaders known to be close aides of Navjot Singh Sidhu also lining up at his residence early in the morning. But now, in a few moments from now, he is expected to surrender. All right, before I come to you, we have Tehseen Poonawalla also on the phone line with us. So Tehseen Poonawalla, Navjot Singh Sidhu now running out of options. 2 days ago, we saw him protesting, riding on an elephant. He approached the Supreme Court saying he is too sick on health grounds, trying to delay his surrender.
I will not get into technicalities of what he said because I have not read his petition. But every Indian citizen, every human being in India has a right to legal recourse. And if Mr. Navjot Sidhu chose to take that legal recourse, I don't see what's the issue of debate. If I may just extend 1 second, when Mr. Amit Shah ji was accused and a Taripar, even he took legal recourse. What is wrong in Sidhu taking legal recourse? Is it illegal?
It's not illegal, it's definitely not. But the question is, now when just 2 days ago he was out protesting on an elephant, would it be right to approach the Supreme Court on health grounds?
We should have faith in the wisdom of the Honorable Supreme Court, and if people think that they have a good petition and the Honorable Supreme Court sees merit, they will entertain it. If the Honorable Supreme Court does not see merit, they will dismiss it. The legal recourse is available to every human being in India, not just Sidhu or Amit Shah sir or anybody else. It's available to Kasab. So I don't think that's a matter of saying what he puts in his petition. I don't know what he's put in his petition. I haven't read it. But if he's put something, Supreme Court will see through it.
Sir, Mr. Poonawalla, it's rather the pretext that has now been taken to avoid the law, it seems, because that is why we are calling it a complete mockery, because he's fit and fine absolutely to participate and in all of those political events and protests and marches and whatnot, but the next day he's too sick to surrender.
Sure, but I'm sure you're not a doctor, neither am I. I'm quite certain about that.
No, but that is why the Supreme Court did not deem fit to even consider or entertain the plea.
So we should have perfect, and we should have faith in the wisdom of the Honorable Supreme Court, whose majesty all of us bow.
Yes, but don't you seem it is rather it deems fit to a political person and a figure like Navjot Singh Sidhu to actually lead with example and follow the law?
Neither am I Navjot's PR, neither am I his spokesperson. What Navjot chose to do legally is Navjot's call. He has legal recourse, and we must all have ultimate faith in the Honorable Supreme Court. I've been multiple times now that I've been told not to challenge the wisdom of the Supreme Court, so we shouldn't.
Nobody is challenging that, sir. Nobody is challenging that. We are actually only thinking about what Navjot Singh Sidhu seems to be thinking, because yesterday he was ready to bow before and submit himself before the majesty of law that he had been tweeting. Today he is seeking more time on medical grounds, but he's run out of options. Mr. Poonawalla, thank you very much for joining in. I have also Manjinder Singh Sirsa साहब joining us on the phone line. Sirsa साहब, ये किस तरह से देखते हैं आप? जस्टिस का एक तरीके से मजाक उड़ाया जा रहा है. एक दिन पहले वो सड़कों पे उतरते हैं, अगले दिन बोलते हैं कि मैं बहुत बीमार हूँ.
नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू की हिस्ट्री यू टर्न की है. नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू ने जब भी जो मुंह से बोला है, वहां एक आदमी है जो बोलता है उसको प्रैक्टिस नहीं करता. मैंने अपनी लाइफ में किसी आदमी को इतने यू टर्न लेते नहीं देखा. वही डायलॉग जो कभी वो श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के लिए इस्तेमाल करता था और ऐसी भद्दी भाषा कांग्रेस की प्रेसिडेंट के लिए बोलता था, उसको थोड़े दिन बाद विपरीत होकर उल्टा शुरू हो गया. कल तक वो हाथी पर घूम रहा था, सारी कांग्रेस को चैलेंज कर रहा था. पंजाब के घर एक एमएलए के घर जा रहा था क्योंकि उसको पीसीसी से प्रधान हटा था, एक कांग्रेसी के घर जा रहा था. और अचानक से जैसे ही जजमेंट आई वो बीमार हो गया. अब आप कल्पना कीजिए, जिस आदमी ने 2 घंटे पहले ट्वीट किया हो कि मैं तंदुरुस्त हूं और मैं तो सरेंडर कर रहा हूं लॉ के कानून के सामने.
लेकिन सर अब ऑप्शंस खत्म हो गए, सरेंडर करना ही पड़ेगा. The CGI did not entertain his plea. Sirsa Saab, thank you very much for joining in with your point of view. We are quickly moving